Hello again, and welcome back to Illegally Cited. This is Jesse, and I am back for a look at Spider-Man 2's launch day accessibility. And the reason I'm being so specific about this is because we know that things are probably going to be changing in the fairly near future. So before I go any further, I am taking a look at the PlayStation 5 version of the game, which I don't even know if this is on PS4 anymore. So this might even just be a PS5 exclusive. But I am using my PS Remote app to the PC, so I'm recording it that way to do this video. And before we go any further, I also do want to thank Sony and Insomniac Games. I want to thank both of them for the review copy, the early review copy of this game, for my accessibility coverage video here. So very much appreciated. I will still be giving my honest thoughts and opinions and overall just kind of a quick look at the game. This is not going to be a full spotlight video. Because this is going to be an overall accessibility video. And I'm doing that because, well, A, people are most interested in the accessibility features, what's going to be there, what's not going to be there. And since Insomniac has actually come out and said that, hey, we know that all of our planned accessibility settings are not going to be there at launch, and that they're shooting for around a December time frame to where a lot, or at least a few more accessibility features will be added post-launch. Specifically, some of the ones that a lot, myself and probably a lot of you are specifically interested in, like narrated menus and audio description. Those are two that really stood out for me as things that, like, oh, hey, they didn't get the time to put blind accessibility in, for release date for the launch day, which kind of stinks. I'm not gonna lie, it's unfortunate, but I'm glad that well ahead of launch, because this was announced as I'm recording this video probably a good 2, 3, 4 weeks ago already. And so we've known that, hey, I'm glad that they were upfront about it. They were honest. They said, hey, this is what we're adding. This is what is going to be here around launch, and this is what's going to be added hopefully a month or two later. And we're going to just try to keep improving. So, Spider-Man 2 on the PS5. We are at the pause menu. Now, I should also mention that I have not played a ton of this, admittedly. I've swung around the city quite a bit because that's just fun to do. I love looking at the amazing graphics. I love just swinging around as Spider-Man. And I can be Peter Parker or Miles Morales. That's one of the cool things about this game, is you have Peter Parker, you have Miles Morales, and they're all in one. And you can just go like, oh, I'm going to be Peter for a while. I'm going to be Miles for a while. But honestly, I haven't played a lot of the story. I've done a couple side missions. I've swung around the city. But because I know that these other accessibility features are coming, I'm probably going to want to almost start the game over anyway. And so other than, getting through the couple initial missions, I figured, you know what? I'm going to wait to enjoy the game fully when these additional accessibility features hopefully come out around December. Because, again, not just for blind users, but narrated menus help a lot for low vision as well. Especially in a game like this where there are objectives, there are skill trees, there's like gadgets and things that you can do. But let's go into settings and I'll show you what is there. So we have a whole bunch of categories. That's the cool thing here. But again, no narrated menus at this point. This is where I would love to have that feature. But let's go ahead and go into gameplay here real quick. And I'll just sort of read to you kind of some of the things that are here. So challenge level modifiers, um, we have those. Enemy health, we can adjust. So this is what I like. It's not just like regular difficulty levels. I mentioned this in a recent video where we have enemy health, enemy damage. So like if you are not as good at combat or you just want to, wreck guys or something, you can lower that. Or look at this, stealth awareness. So you can adjust, like the stealth awareness. We've got simplify puzzles. I like the combat. I'm really enjoying the combat, so I haven't really lowered that. But I did turn on simplify puzzles because I'm just not really a puzzle guy. I mean, sometimes I like them, but me, not so much. We've got dodge parry timing, so you can make that more or less forgiving. Chase assist, this is a really nice feature. So if I have something marked, whether it's like a side quest or main objective, I can click the stick, and it'll kind of point me toward the direction of where the heck it is I'm supposed to go. And especially in a game like Spider-Man where you have the verticality, super, super helpful. Game speed, again, that's a cool thing. If you need a little bit more time to react to things or you just need a little bit more time in general, you can slow the game speed down. Enhanced auto aim. I haven't really gotten that to work a whole lot. Like, I haven't quite figured out what that does as far as, like, I think it's supposed to kind of snap on to people, but I didn't really notice much of a change. It's something I have to kind of play a little bit more. Let's see, where do we... Enhanced auto aim. That's how I had to arrow down a little bit. QT auto complete. Heck yes. That one I turned on because I didn't even really like them in Shenmue all that much, but QTEs since then, nah, get them out of here. I don't like them. Auto heal. This one is kind of cool because you can set it to on, off, but you can also set it to like percentages. So it's like if you get below a certain amount of health, how much do you want it to kind of give you back? That's kind of a neat thing because let's see if I go to the right here. Yeah, 10%, 30, 50, and then off. So it's kind of a nice assist thing, but I mean, this is just gameplay. And we still have a few more options here. Let's see, what else do we got here? Yes, so we have swing assist. We have a steering assistant. So again, you can set there's like a slider bar for that. How much do you want that to be? Slow corner time scale. So it's like when you're turning a corner, kind of getting the web shooters that way. Web line, let's see, what is this one? Web line bending. I don't even know. Okay, that one's on apparently. And full damage is off. So those are just some gameplay assists. Let's go down to our next category here. Let's see, we've got controls. So we can, I believe we can customize a lot of our controls here as well, but then we also have, your general stuff like your vibration intensity. Let's see, what else do we got here? Yeah, repeated button presses. You can turn those to hold or toggle, or hold or mash, basically. Continuous dodge. So it's kind of like a dodge assist type of thing. Web shooter burst. Let's see, what else do we have? So like I said, there's all kinds of stuff. So I know it's easy to be, upset or annoyed that your specific accessibility feature did not make launch. And yeah, it is disappointing. But clearly you can see that they have thought about a lot of accessibility. So we got like aim mode. We can hold or toggle. Let's see, switching parkour mode. Hold. Got some trick modes, so we can do tricks in the air, and those are also hold or toggle or press. Web wings, that's a cool new thing. You get kind of like a glider. In addition to your webs, you can that's kind of a cool thing. Melee mode. So, I mean, look at this. This isn't even customizing the controller. This is just like a lot of just general control things that you can adjust or toggle. Camera. Let's go into audio. So we have a lot of different sliders here. And I think on launch day, they said they are adding a, what do they call it? Like basically a new audio mix. So if you have really good headphones or speakers that will support, I can't remember if it's DTS or if it's like something else. I forget what they call it. But they're adding basically a better immersive sound thing, which will be also very helpful for blind and low vision to help like locate items or people or enemies in the environment. So we got UI, master sound effects. See, audio output device. I really can't. Yeah, so TV speakers, I can switch that to headphones, which I really should do. I didn't realize. And that could be just because I'm remoting over to my computer. Midnight mode. So this is cool. Let's see, is this the screen where it has it too? I seem to remember a option where, and I like this. I wish more games would do this, especially like action games. Let me see. Midnight mode, 3D audio. Yeah, I can't do 3D audio because I'm remotely in here right now. Wireless controller. Where was it? God, look at this. There's just so dang many options. When I first played this, I spent, especially since it was a little harder to read visually, but just because of the text and stuff. So narrated ASL. That's a cool thing. Voice boost. This is what I like. You can turn this on, and it will try to make all the dialogue easier to see, especially if you got a whole bunch of music swelling in the background. You've got sound effects and explosions. You've got the podcast. You can turn those on and off. Okay, JJ. Yeah, okay, so we got different podcast ones. We can turn those on and off as you're swinging through the world. That's really cool. But I really like the dialogue boost option. Because especially, I don't, sighted people can kind of look at subtitles to verify. I can't read those quick enough. So they're a little harder. Open world music. I believe we can turn that on and off. So some of that might be licensed, especially if you're streaming. You might want to turn some of that off. Now here's also really interesting. You have things for like high and low frequency and stuff. So like if you're hard of hearing and you have trouble hearing certain frequencies, you can kind of fine tune some of that, and that's actually really cool. Like that's a step beyond, I think, what I've seen in a lot of games. So again, awesome stuff. We've got a whole section for subtitles. So that just, that's funny. It's either under audio or I forget where else they put it. Sometimes they put it under gameplay. But we got customization. We have subtitle size, color. We got speaker color, so we can adjust that. Background, so you got your opacity, that kind of a thing. What else here do we got here? Okay, so so that's cool. Like subtitles actually gets its own section. That's pretty wild. I don't see that very often, if ever. visuals. So you do have like a performance mode. You have more of like a, do you want more performance? Do you want frame rate? You can choose to decide that. UI, this is another thing for low vision that can be particularly helpful. There's a lot of stuff under here. And so we have hints, controller hints. Yeah, we can do that. Okay. Puzzle hints. Mini map, you can make that always facing north or have it rotate. Yeah, mini map. UI parallax. I don't know what that actually does. Mission waypoint display. So you can have always show or only when it's relevant. Like if you're just swinging around, you can kind of hide it so you don't have that cluttering up the UI if you want it. Emphasis text color, so I can change that color. Icon and prompt size. I have it set to largest, but honestly, I think Miles Morales was actually bigger. Especially, or that might be its own thing. Let me see. I got to arrow down here. Because I thought there was something very specific about like waypoint options. I remember in Miles Morales there was this like a ginormous, what was like a yellow or orange sign, but it was huge. Let me see here. Crime notification, air trick notification. I don't remember if I saw it in there, but that might be just the size there. It is big, but I think I like the way that Miles Morales did it a little bit better. And trust me, we're getting there. We will get to a little bit of gameplay. I will swing around the city a little bit for you, but I do have to go under the accessibility menu because the reason I wanted to do this last is because look at all the things under these other categories. Now, some of them are probably going to be duplicated here, but all of those things are not even under the accessibility menu, so there's tons more. So this is cool. When you first start the game, you can choose between you can have a hearing preset, a motor preset, motion preset, vision preset, and it will basically give you a series of options. You can customize them more. But you see here, these are a lot of the gameplay assist. So we saw some of those probably under gameplay, if I have to imagine. Let's see, game speed, chase assist, simplify puzzles. Yeah, we've gone through a lot of these, but trust me, there is more. I want to go down specifically, and like I said, there's so many options. There's so many. This is why I really, really am waiting for screen narration. Controls, yeah, so invert look, repeated buttons, continuous dodge. A lot of these we've talked about already, so I kind of want to skim through these. I want to find the low vision stuff because while they do not have the screen reader or the menu narration and audio description, so we do have our camera assist. So we have look at waypoint on scan. So you do a scan, or you can also just have it try to lock on if there is one, which I think is a little bit too much. So it's like if I want to go, I will do the little scan thing, and then it'll go okay, yeah, go this way. Camera follow, you can customize that. We got motion sensitivity options. I know people especially in a game like Spider-Man and the realistic graphics, trying to make it easier so people don't get motion sick and things like that. That's awesome that they include all these different things in here. There's sliders, there's toggles. There's just so much stuff. I'm trying to go into as much detail as I can, but I'm trying to do it quickly enough where we're not going to be here for 4 hours going through every accessibility menu. So here's your hearing stuff. So you got your ASL, you've got your voice boost, and that's even helpful for everybody. There's your frequency options. Jesus. Okay, so now we're on to the subtitles. We already looked at that. So this is kind of a blanket. Just like if you want anything remotely related to what people would think about accessibility, you've got it here. So subtitles. Okay, visual assist. Let's look at these here. Emphasis text color, we've got that. Icon and prompt size. I definitely, yep, that is largest. So there's that. High contrast. Now this is cool. You have all of these different like squares, and what confused me at first was I didn't turn the whole vision thing on, and I was doing it manually. And originally, all of these just had little X's in them, and I was like, why when I set this up isn't it working? But I can go in here and say I want like my enemy to be this color, allies to be this color, objectives to be a certain color. Like, you can choose their preset, or if there's a color that you can't see particularly well, you can just go ahead and play with them. And look at this, there's a good probably 10, 12 of these suckers in here. So there's a lot of stuff that you can visually customize. That is cool. And I'll show you what's also really cool in just a moment. I want to make sure that I'm not missing anything here. High contrast background. See, when you turn that on, the high contrast background, spider sense, you've got your different vision senses for that kind of a stuff. I mean, look at that. There's so many things. So that is pretty much your accessibility. Now, here's the other thing is, especially with like The Last of Us and God of War, and any game where you have a high contrast mode, I'm glad that it's there. But what I would like even more is when a game offers the ability to quickly, instantly turn them on and off. So you have a couple of presets here. I only have one of them mapped so far. And so when I hit a certain thing on my D-pad, I can hit left on my D-pad, and it will toggle my high contrast thing on and off. So maybe normally I want to view the world in all of its, regular glory, but then when I need to see something, I can just turn it on and off, which I love. And it's not just accessibility features. What's cool about it is you can just go ahead and map it to like whatever. Let's say you have a mobility impairment and there's a button command where you have to hit multiple buttons, like, oh, I need to do a special attack or a special web ability. Because trust me, there are tons and tons of, I can't even remember them all sometimes, where that's why I have the tooltip still come up. But there are, sometimes you have to hold L1 and hit square, or R1 and hit triangle, or just all kinds of stuff. And so if you have trouble with multiple inputs, but there's a command that you use all the time, you could set those to be a preset. And so it's less to worry about there. So those are the settings here. Let me we'll web swing around the city to end this video a little bit here. But let me get a drink here. So that is what's in the game for customization and accessibility. And here we are. We are in New York. We are perched on top of our building here. And I mean, this is, if you've played any of the other Spider-Man Miles Morales or the original Spider-Man, the controls are very similar. Let's just go ahead and swing around the city because, I don't want to just show you a whole video of menus, right? I mean, look at this thing, is just so fluid. And the game looks incredible. Oh yeah, and I do want to show you what the other screens look like. Some of the option screens and such. So we're down at street level. Just the sense of speed, the fluidity, I could just swing around this city for a long time. I mean, it is just so freaking cool. I mean, if they've nailed anything, they've nailed the way it feels to swing around as Spider-Man. It is awesome. I mean, look at that, just going through the alleys, it's just butter. Now again, see, I clicked my right stick, and now it kind of faces toward the objective that I have. So again, I don't have it follow all the time, but when I click, it's like, hey, I want you to face me where I'm supposed to go. And especially, if there's a lot of chaos going on, like in the prologue mission, it got really crazy. And here's the other reason why I'm kind of waiting to really play through the game until we get those additional accessibility features. I hope that the screen narration also will indicate, like, during gameplay prompts, because I have the text UI set to be the largest, but especially again, there's during the prologue thing, there was some web swinging. There was basically a series of there was a big old boss battle that we were doing in different segments, and there was just chaos happening all the time. And yeah, sometimes it would kind of pause and let you kind of, okay, this is what you're supposed to hit. They weren't QuickTime events, but they were showing the tutorial messages, and some of those were kind of small. To me, they still looked small. And if those were narrated like they would be in God of War or The Last of Us, I'm really, really hoping for that, because then I can watch what's going on the screen, but then I have to really quickly try to get close and look at, oh, I got to hit L1 and R1 together, or I got to hit, whatever combination it is. And so it's just going to be so much easier. So yeah, I would have loved to play further, and I probably could have, but with so many other games coming out and everything, and this is why I always emphasize, I really, really want to encourage developers to try and add things like menu narration, because yes, they help for Totally Blind and they're essential for Totally Blind, but they also can really help for maybe people with dyslexia, low vision, learning disability, a lot of other things where that can still become handy. And, again, I was using to read those options quickly enough. I wasn't just looking at the options. I was looking at my phone. I was using my phone to magnify just so I could read them faster to you. So you didn't know that until I told you just now. But again, when I was doing that on my TV, it's like, well, I can read them, but it's so slow for me to do that and for me to read the UI. So let's go ahead and if I click the stick here, or if I click the touchpad, we have our map here. And like I said, I don't have much of the city unlocked because honestly, like I said, I haven't played much because I'm really waiting for more of the blind low vision accessibility to come out later. But I'm hoping that this will speak eventually. I do like the white cursor. That is pretty easy to see. It does, I don't know, maybe if it could be like a little bit bigger or something, because like over here it's nice, but when I'm over the city, it can still sort of blend in. But I like the arrow. I can see kind of what direction I'm facing, so that's good. But let's go ahead and, so this is where your gadgets are, and I have all kinds of stuff, gadgets I can do, I can create, and again, just being able to arrow through this and have it read aloud, like it is a clean interface, but even though the contrast is good, the text is, kind of small for me, and it still takes me a lot of time. I've said a lot in the last few years, if menus are narrated, if user interfaces are narrated, I can save my vision for playing the game you know, and then I don't have to go through and kind of struggle to read menus and skill trees and stuff slowly. So here we've got, let's see, what do we got here? Okay, right. So we got skill trees here, and we have so this is kind of cool. We have a shared skill tree, and then we also have separate skill trees for both Peter and Miles. So it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we want to maybe make some generic moves that everybody can use, or we've got, you know, like Miles has got his electric powers. Peter's going to get his venom powers once I get a little bit further here. But again, going through these, it's like, yeah, I can kind of read them, but it's so slow. Just being able to like arrow and listen to them. I mean, I'm getting spoiled, but honestly, this is what we're shooting for. You know, things like Harry Potter, Diablo 4, you know, even that Saints Row game, the reboot. Like, there's been a pretty large handful of games that have added menu narration. Mortal Kombat. So many things that you can just arrow through, and just like everyone else, I can speed through this stuff a lot quicker. I mean, we've got, what is this screen? Okay, we've got, wow, yeah. I mean, we've got quests, we've got like side quests, we've got suits that we can do. I mean, look at there's tons and tons of text here that we can, so there's a lot of UI that, again, for me to really take advantage of it all, let's see, how do I bring up I'm trying to remember. Is it my cell phone? Or how do I did it before. Oh, right, I was going to show you that in a minute. Okay, that's a web. How the hell do I bring up my cell phone? Okay, there we go. It was swiping on the touchpad. So again, that thing there, I would love to be able to have that narrated, because that is really small. That I really have that is kind of hard to read. So if that were narrated, that would be extremely helpful for me. So even though there's a lot of accessibility features for low vision, there's still a lot that I think would be really a lot more helpful for me. Again, so I've been kind of putting off playing too much of the game because I want to make it a lot easier on myself. And I'm not saying I want the game to be easy, but I want just the user interface. I want the overall, you know, everything around the game to be easier so that I can actually play the game. Now you also notice, so we're looking at our regular city here, and if I hit left on the D-pad, check this out. I've got high contrast sky, I've got buildings, everything is sort of grayscale because I turned that option on, but I've got my blue silhouette for Spider-Man here. If I had some interactable thing, it would be, I think, yellow. Enemies would be red. So again, just like and I can just go ahead and swing around the city like this if I really wanted to. You know, if that's what you need to get around. And then I can go ahead and swing toward my objective. I'm not going to go there because I don't want to trigger any, for the video and the embargoes and stuff, I don't want to show any story stuff. I'm doing that on purpose. You know, like if there's a random crime, that's fine. But I don't want to spoil any story because.
Marco's memory crystals Miles told me about.
Oh wait, what about a memory? Oh, I would love to. Okay, I hear the music picked up. So is there some? Oh, I was hoping there'd be some dudes I could fight. Because the combat in this is like the Spider-Man. That's the other thing they really get right. Is the combat is really fun. Because you're kicking, punching, you're swinging, you're zipping between dudes with ledges. Yeah, see, I don't want... I'm trying to listen for audio cues too, because you mentioned some kind of a crystal nearby, and I haven't fully figured out a good way to tell. Well, let me use my high contrast. Let me see if there's something that can stand out here. I don't know if it's on this building or if it's right nearby. Okay, we got something up here. What is it? What keeps... There's like a circle. Yeah, I know that's my objective. What it... So it's like it's right below us, I think. I'm not sure what that means. Huh. Well, it's right up there. Yeah, that's my main objective. Yeah, I mean, look at that. Like, it's big. But I remember just this giant thing on Miles Morales that just, it made it look... Yeah, so I'm not sure what that other circle is. Because you see now... Oh, I wonder if that's just from my web shooters. I wonder. Because if I turn this way, it goes away. Oh, you know what it is? It's probably so that if I want, I can go... Let's see. Yeah, so I can, if I hit both my left and right triggers, you can kind of do like almost like a grappling hook thing where instead of swinging to something, you'll just use your webs like a grappling hook type of thing. Yeah, let's that is a really tall building up there. I want to swing up here and run up this building because it's cool. And it'll give you a nice sky view up here. So I'm very curious to see what other low vision types of things we get. Any narration, any audio pings, like to help people, you know, even like I said, low vision like myself. It's like, oh, you know, Peter told us about being able to, you know, that there was his sensor picked up one of those crystals, but something to kind of help figure out where that is, especially for a blind or low vision player. That's what I'm kind of curious to see later on. But look at, I mean, look at this. Look at the draw distance. I mean, look at this city. And, you know, during the opening mission, I was like, it was cool. I was fighting, and there was bosses. There was just, you know, particle effects. And I almost said what it was, but that would kind of spoil who it was that I was fighting. But, yeah, I'm trying not to go toward my objective. But, I mean, that is an initial look at Spider-Man. Like I said, I'm purposely not showing any missions because they want you to start from the beginning. And this is a kind of a, like a, not a review per se, but an accessibility review, accessibility overview video. And I'm hoping that I will be able to revisit this game. And, you know, I'll refer everyone to this video if they want to see some of the initial settings. But once we have menu narration, I'm curious to what, you know, how extensive that's going to be. But once we have that, then I'm hoping to be able to, you know, just play the game a little bit more, and then I'll maybe be able to do, you know, by then the embargoes will be done, and we can take a look at more gameplay where I can actually show you some fighting, show you maybe a side mission or a main mission or something. But again, this video I wanted to highlight specifically, and that's what I'm going to name it, Launch Day Accessibility, because Insomniac has already confirmed that we are getting some additional accessibility features, hopefully by the end of 2023. So I know I didn't get to really cover combat. I didn't get to cover just, you know, lots of the mechanics and everything, but I wanted to at least show some web slinging to show you how dang good this game does look. Because it does look really good. You know, again, I can look at this. I just hit left on the D-pad, and I already have my high contrast. Because that's the thing, is if I have to go into like 3 levels, 4 levels deep into a menu, it's great that the features are there, but like the high contrast mode specifically, you know, text-to-speech, I'm going to want that on all the time. But high contrast, you know, it's like I want to view the game in its original form. I want to see just how dang good it looks. But at the same time, like, I want to be able to see it as, you know, as clearly as I can when I need to. If I'm doing combat, if I'm doing stealth, if I'm trying to hunt down a specific mission objective. Okay, leaving. Yeah, okay, so it wants me to stay in a certain area of the city for now, which is fine. But yeah, I think, you know, this is already, even though it was a lot of menus and stuff, a little bit of web slinging. That is my initial video, my accessibility impressions for my launch day accessibility impressions of Marvel's Spider-Man 2 for the PlayStation 5. And, you know, if I had to guess, probably within another year or two, you know, we saw both the other games, the Spider-Man and Miles Morales, come to PC, so who knows? You know, we'll probably have to wait a while, but it wouldn't surprise me if we got Spider-Man 2. But again, they don't want to cannibalize their PC or their PlayStation sales. They're not like Microsoft, where they're like, hey, let's put it out on PC and Xbox at the same time. No. Sony's like, no, it's PlayStation first, and then maybe we'll throw PC a bone later. But you know what? I'm very, very much looking forward to the accessibility updates in December. I hope that they really, really help. I hope that it's not just like surface level menu narration. I hope it's the map. I hope it's the other UI. I hope it will read some of the in-game as you're playing, some of the tooltips, some of the tutorials. You know, anything that really comes up in your UI that's trying to tell you something. I really do hope that it's at that level so that we can really enjoy. Because if you have the menu narration and you have, you know, again, I can keep scanning. And look at the pillar. Like, look at that. That's cool too. You can see the objective, but you can also see the pillar, which I'm actually quite close to. And then it disappears. I kind of wish that, you know, that's another thing that they could do is maybe, I wish that pillar was always there so I could just, it didn't disappear. I could just, I suppose if I switched it to always on, maybe that is an option. But I like just having that giant pillar of light to kind of guide me to where it is I'm going. But as you know, and it will guide you higher and lower, you know, so it'll point the camera up or down if it's like something on top of a building or at ground level or whatever. So if you had menu narration and you were able to turn some of these assists on and listen to the sound effects, audio cues for, you know, combat tells and things like that, I'm hoping that along with that in the audio descriptions, I'm hoping that with the future update, this should be at least largely blind accessible. It is not now, but hopefully, here's hoping that in the near future, Sony just might have another game for blind players. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give it a like if you did. Follow me on Twitter at BGFH79, twitch.tv/illegally-cited, illegally-cited.com, and right here on YouTube. Until next time, I will chat with everybody again later.